This perfume is supposed to be the perfect recreation of white, crispy snow and cold air. Let's see if it truly is. Welcome to Smellomania, a channel of highly visual perfume reviews. I have the majestic snowy owl from Zoologist with me today, and I can't wait to review it. I even made a special quilt from one of the feathers. I have this beautiful Zoologist discovery set here with me and a sample of snowy owl. If I have the chance, I always want to test the same perfume from a bottle and from a sample to see if there were any reformulations or if the perfume in my bottle is still fresh. Zoologist is my all-time favorite perfume brand, period. I just absolutely adore the whole concept of creating perfumes about animals and their surroundings. Of course, their illustrations play a huge role too. I mean, who doesn't want to see animals wearing tuxedos and dresses? The brand's founder, Victor Wong, works with award-winning perfumers to bring his visions of animal scents to life. He chooses a different perfumer to create each scent he has in mind based on their past works. For example, Snowy Owl was created by Dawn Spencer Hurwitz, who is a renowned perfumer, olfactory artist, and a certified aromatherapist. My bottle of Snowy Owl is of older edition. They have updated their bottle design since then. There haven't been any talks about reformulation, so I'm assuming that the perfume remained the same. Let's talk about the notes of the perfume. At this point, you might be wondering, Yeva, why are you drawing like a preschooler? Well, because these are special watercolor pencils and they simply melt into pure pigment as soon as they come in contact with water. Do you know what else experienced some melting action? The snow this year. The winter was so short and so warm, but I knew that there were going to be a few snowy days.
Yay! Summer's here! Awesome! Best summer ever!
This was me, except I was running around with my Snowy Owl bottle. If I were to review a perfume about snow, I had to fill my sample and my bottle covered in snow from every angle, right? I drew only the most prominent, the most intriguing notes from the list. They should help you to imagine the perfume better. Coconut, snow accord, snowdrop, a powdery iris, lily of the valley, and cold mint. The remaining notes are white rose, mate, frankincense, galbanum, ambrette, cedar, civet, oak moss, musks, tonka, and vanilla. But as we all know, the notes rarely reflect what the fragrance truly smells like. They help to tell the story, to tickle our imagination. However, even some slight alterations in the proportions of the ingredients used will have a great impact on the final smell of the perfume. In the case of Snowy Owl, from all the 17 notes listed above, I could have guessed no more than 2 notes correctly. All the others are blended to perfection to create an intriguing story about a white owl gliding above infinite snowy horizons, looking for its next prey. I found it hilarious and ingenious at the same time that the perfumer added a civet note as one of the base notes, purely to illustrate that there's a vole hiding in the snowy tunnels, trying to escape from the owl. I was taking a walk in the forest during the very first week of the spring. The snow was long gone, but take a look at what I've discovered. A snowdrop. That very same special flower, which is among the notes of Snowy Owl and is even printed on my sample. Can you imagine the odds? These tiny special flowers bloom once a year in March and for a few weeks only. And I was just walking around the forest with my sample in my pocket, pondering about this upcoming review, and came across one. The smell of the flower itself was so soft, so delicately sweet and nectarous. Also, can you see this birdhouse? It's hanging just above the snowdrops I've discovered. And do you know who lives in there? A tiny boreal owl. What a magical coincidence! A truly divine orchestration in the form of a perfume and the observer. Up until this point, I've been talking about what snowy owl is and what it's supposed to smell like. But now it's time to tell you what it really smelled like to me. I'll use my special quill for this confession. To me, snowy owl smells serene. It is very earthy, reminding me of soil. It's melancholic. The more I smelled it, the more long-forgotten memories were induced. Yet, at the same time, it's calming, even natural smelling. I'm really sorry about this imagery, but snowy owl reminded me of funerals. Only what if it was a white funeral? The smell is absolutely non-linear, and there's such a deep story underneath this perfume. Let's uncover it together. For my final artwork, I wanted to do something different. I had these lovely classic children's books lying around home about Peter Rabbit and Winnie the Pooh. They both had these dreamy watercolor illustrations and some text written around them. That's what I want for my snowy owl. So I scribbled a quick sketch and got ready for Act 1, The Frozen Garden. This blue stuff I'm applying is called masking fluid. I will remove it later and find perfectly white snow underneath. To my nose, snowy owl starts off like the coldest autumn soil. It's like the last day of the harvest season, and temperature has just dropped below freezing. Someone has just finished digging up the last carrots, stuck the metal shovel into the cold soil, and ran back home to get a warmer coat. And it started to snow. Yes, I do feel a metallic touch in the opening. And yes, I do smell carrots. Not carrot seeds, not carrot pies, but cold, dirty carrots with their green leaves still on, and it's all covered in snow. Dip, dip, dip.
As this year's gourd crop has fallen prey to a rather unexpected infestation of salt marsh cutworms. Dip, 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 dip.
It was the season's last harvest, accompanied by the next season's first snow. Act 2, Cold Embrace. After about half an hour, the initial crispy air resides. We're now following the person who just got back home from that chilly garden. Snowy Owl is a very special perfume that requires the wearer to have quite a sophisticated taste in perfumery. It's not your happy-go-lucky easy spritz. It's a complex work of art, a complex unraveling story. It's a perfume meant to be enjoyed by yourself first, rather than stand out from the crowd and gather compliments. I would classify Snowy Owl as a smell, an experience rather than a perfume. So our protagonist just got back to a cozy and warm place. Her hands are still dirty from all that work in the garden. She brought back home that basket of carrots and her shovel. But that metal part is not in sight anymore. Only dirty carrots and a soft hug. She's hugging a special tiny human who's been waiting for her, all wrapped up into a fluffy blanket, and she's trying so hard not to get it dirty and still give a hug at the same time. Dip, dip, dip. I love doing this. So she just got back home from the garden. Her hands were still cold and dirty. Act 3. The Vanity. Even though my story has been circling around a lady, Snowy Owl is a truly unisex perfume. It's genderless and it's timeless. My skin is very economical when it comes to perfume. One spray on the wrist of most of the perfumes covers me for the whole day. Now with Snowy Owl, I had to use 4. It really seemed to disappear somewhere on me. It definitely lasted longer on a blotter, but it's not a very strong or powerful perfume in general. It's really rather delicate and personal. My final scene, the dry down of the perfume, was taking place next to a vanity table. She washed her hands and sat down to powder her nose. I did leave that carrot lying next to her because I can still sense that softly sweet dirt lingering around from the opening. But now it's mostly about delicate, powdery floral smell, which is still very earthy, cold, and genderless. Dip, dip, dip. Her hands started to warm up a bit. She headed to her vanity table. It's time to get ready. Here is the entire Snowy Owl story, a truly beautiful and very evocative perfume. Thank you so much for staying with me through this journey. And thank you Allison and Matthew for supporting this channel through PayPal. We have truly built a wonderful community together. See you soon on the next video in a week. Or if you'd like to see more of my reviews, consider joining my Patreon. I'll leave the link down below. I'll be adding more and more new reviews very soon. Bye.